Hello, everyone. We have an exciting guest today, Jennifer Clearwaters. She's a licensed professional counselor, and we are going to be talking about the 4 attachment styles. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for
Good,
having me
how are you?
on.
Thank you for coming on the show today. And I wanted to explain to the audience what the 4 attachment styles are and how important it is for each person to know what their attachment style is and their partners.
So when we jump right in with attachment styles, it's something that we really need to do first for ourselves, because we need to know what kind of person we are, so we know when we are attracting and trying to be in the right partnership. Sometimes we just shake our heads and we can't figure out why this isn't working. So number 1, we need to know ourselves, and number 2, we really need to know what our partner's needs are, because we may think that we know, but they might have a totally different attachment style than us. Okay, and a lot of it comes from our background, our experience, our childhood. This is all these things that make up you as a person, is what your attachment style is. So the first one that's really talked about is an anxious attachment style. And that can be something that's more of like you're the anxious person, or your partner is very anxious. You're kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're not really sure what's going on. And you can kind of go back and notice these patterns. We're probably all shaking our heads like, that's me, or it's someone that I know.
She'll know by the end of this episode. I already know what I am because I had to go through therapy with my ex. But
yes.
I have a question though before we jump into this. I have actually never heard the term attachment style. What is an attachment style before we get into the specifics? I'm sure there's other people out there that are like, attachment style,
what is
what's that?
Right.
Yeah, what is that? Yeah.
Think of it this way. Our attachment style is the way that you bond, right? The way that you connect with with yourself, but the way that you're going to connect to other people. So attachment styles, this is just like the term. And if you look up attachment styles, there's numerous books and articles written on this, but it's really how we connect, or actually how we disconnect, or how we don't connect. So almost if you thought of yourself as a magnet, you're going to have someone that you're going to connect with, and then there's going to be people you're going to repel from. So that's what really attachment styles are like. So if we're talking about, again, the anxious attachment style, that might be someone who's a bit nervous or unsure, waiting for the other shoe to drop, not really sure what's going to happen. Another one is it's called avoidant. So the person that doesn't really want to get too attached, doesn't want to really make any big commitments, not really addressing the problems, kind of avoiding the situation, avoiding getting serious, avoiding actually saying I don't think this is working. So you might notice those types of qualities in yourself or in someone else. So the other one is we have anxious, we have avoidant, we have disorganized, where we might be kind of all over the place. Disorganized.
And disorganized.
And those might be sometimes where, we might really literally be all over the place, but sometimes you might misconstrue that as being anxious. But, disorganization is disorganization. We really don't know what we want. We're not sure if we like you. We're not sure if we like ourselves. We don't want to commit. We're really not, I don't want to put too much time into this. Okay, so that's a kind of a different style that it's very hard to be settled with a disorganized attachment partner. And think about, it's hard to be settled and calm when everything is disorganized. So, and then the last one, the one that everyone's hoping to find, is a secure attachment style. And that's kind of when you feel comfortable, you feel like you are yourself, you feel solid in who you are as a person, and that's what you're hoping to give to the partner. And usually those relationships that work really well are people who have figured out how to work with a secure attachment style.
So you can be one attachment style in one relationship, but be a different attachment style in another.
Because remember, all of our life experiences make us who we are and where we're going to the next phase. So, and you can also be parts. There are some advanced research that shows that you could be anxious and avoidant, or you could be anxious and disorganized. So you might have a little combinations of both. So,
are there combinations in couples that are an implosion waiting to happen? Are there any really good combinations? How certain astrological signs should mix? Are there certain attachment styles?
It's hard to say that, but if you are, if you are a very anxious person, and you're that person that's waiting for every little thing, you being with an avoidant person is going to probably drive you crazy, right? Because like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
you're not going to get any answers to any of the things that you want if someone's always avoidant. So, I mean, it really just depends. Or if you're a secure person and you feel like I'm really good in myself, who I am, and you're with someone that's very disorganized, that's going to be very frustrating for you.
It would drive you insane. Like my past relationship, we went to therapy and worked on these attachment styles and what we were and how to work together. And I was the disorganized and he was the avoidant. So we're now separated and getting divorced.
Yeah.
But I feel like now the work that I've done on myself, I'm more secure, at least by myself. I feel like a more secure, comfortable person.
Yeah.
So the next relationship that I get into, I want to be with a secure person.
But remember, everything that we go through, all of our experiences, good, bad, or ugly, that's what makes us into the person we are right here, right now, in this moment. And so for you, you can take all of your experiences from your previous relationship and say, okay, I want to move forward. And now I know, like I'm not looking for these things. I'm looking for these other aspects. So
Really hard to be with an avoidant. I think that's probably one of the hardest attachment styles to be in a relationship with.
yes. Well, because, if you're going to be in a serious relationship, you're going to have to deal with real things. And you can't really deal with anything real if you're going to avoid.
Do these styles translate into other relationships in your life, or is it just for romantic relationships?
No,
is there-
anyone that you spend time with, it can almost help you figure out some things. Like if you have,
I'm seeing some friendships that like are not working with me because that's why I was like, wait, is this a romantic thing or can this apply to your everyday life
it's
too?
mostly when we think about relationships, right?
Yeah.
We're mostly thinking about who is our romantic partner, who's going to be our life partner. But if you sat back and think about it, you can go, oh, okay, it can really be with any person that you're spending time with. It can make sense.
Yeah.
It's also just like there's another thing called the love languages. There's 5 love languages. So you can figure that out also with romantic partners, but also like with your siblings or your family, like what makes you tick may not make someone else tick. And if you know that knowledge, you can communicate better.
Yeah, like we all have that friend that if you don't text them back, they send like 20 text messages back, and you're like, why are you texting me
why
this
are you
many
doing
times,
that?
And this makes sense. So it translates across the board.
If we feel anxious, if I'm out to dinner with a friend that's making me feel anxious, is that because they have an anxious attachment style?
Well, it could be, but remember, anxiety, there's always a root cause of anxiety.
Right.
So there's always anxiety has a reason behind it, even though like you might feel anxious and in the moment, like you're like, why? I don't feel it, but there's always a reason behind it. So if you're with a friend who's making you anxious, you have to think about it. Is it that friend's energy? That's
Yes, because I've been around people where I'm feeling super anxious, but then I can be around other people like Vita, and I'm not anxious at all.
Thank you. Right back at you.
You have very calm energy. I can feel it.
Like I feel like I'm a pretty secure person at this point in my life. I mean, in a past life, maybe not, but right now, at 43, I'm very secure. And I feel like I can't deal with these anxious, the preoccupieds in any aspect of my life, right? Like why do I have to constantly reassure you that we're friends, It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's really
That's
difficult
hard.
to be around an anxious.
Right? Yeah. Anxious is very difficult.
And I forget dating an anxious.
I can't even
do it.
imagine.
No, that it's very hard to do, but you need to be secure in yourself. And someone who's very anxious is more like you have to work on getting rid of the anxiety for yourself, working on yourself to make that anxiety go away. Because remember, lots of the things that we're anxious about aren't even things that are really happening.
But once we're secure with ourselves, like Vita is and I am now, I'm probably going to attract that person that's more
100%.
complimentary to me. I'm not going to attract an avoidant
And
probably.
you're going to
or
have
an
less
anxious person.
tolerance. Like you're not.
Yeah,
I
I'm not
feel
gonna
like
be able to
you're
do
not going to
it.
fall for the avoidant again because you're so secure in yourself. You would walk away before you fell in the trap.
Yes.
100%.
Well, that is something to put out in the universe. The energy that you have around yourself is what
Yes.
you're going to put out.
Yes.
I'm feeling, like you said, Vita, I'm feeling so much more secure now with myself. When I'm going out to attract back, you're not going to be attracting back anxious and disorganized people, and you're going to be attracting back what you put out.
So $1,000,000 question, how do we become secure? Those of us who are looking at this and are like, I'm an anxious, I'm an avoidant.
Right.
How do I become secure?
How to become secure. So becoming secure really means that you have to become confident and accepting of yourself with all the flaws and all the craziness and the crazy characteristics that we all have. We have to say, like, I have to be able to love myself if I'm going to love someone else in whatever relationship that is. And that really comes with working on your mental health and wellness, like everyday little things. And one of the biggest things that I actually tell patients when they come in is if you don't do anything else, if you can have a gratitude practice, that is a wonderful step one. Because, and why that works is that our brain is wired for negative thinking, everyone's. We have, about 80,000 thoughts a day, and they are mostly repetitive and negative, which sounds terrible, but that's the human brain working to protect you. So if you can say every day what's going well, you're going to start fostering a more positive reaction in your brain, which is just going to set you up for feeling better and feeling more secure.
That's great advice for our viewers.
So ask yourselves, ladies,
and how
what's
can
going
they
well
reach
today?
And how can they reach you?
How can people reach me?
Our viewers.
People can reach me.
Yes.
Again, I'm coming to you from Point Pleasant in New Jersey, down at the beach. But I have a website. My website is mindsetnj.com. So I have a website. I'm on social media at MindsetGen. I also have a podcast. My podcast is called Mindset Connection. And so on my podcast, we showcase people who are doing wonderful things in mental health and wellness that you may not know about, that are also accessible.
That's great.
Because that's really important. People may see someone or go, oh my gosh, I love that person, but oh, they're so far away and I have no way to reach them. So we're really trying to showcase people who are doing great things in all aspects of mental health and wellness that you can actually reach out to. So.
Wow, that's great. That's great. Thank you so much. This was such great information. Thank you for taking the time today. It was so good to finally meet you.
Yes, you too, Sandra. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you. If you like what you're hearing, share this episode with friends and click that subscribe button. We're back with more. Don't go anywhere.